Hello.
Hello.
How we doing?
Good. Welcome.
Good. It's
Another
welcome.
Wednesday.
It is another Wednesday. So first thing I want to talk about, Real Mist Masterpiece Edition, Anniversary, 20 years of Mist.
Nice.
Remade it for Steam. It looks absolutely beautiful.
It's actually cheaper right now. It's on a sale.
It is on sale. But it just released like this week, like February 4th, I think is when they released it.
That's
Really?
interesting. It looks super.
It does. It looks amazing.
Super not Mist style.
Yeah.
So
Really excited. I will probably buy it. I'll give you guys my thoughts on it, but super exciting news because I think we're all huge Mist fans.
Yes. Love the series.
So
I
I'll
only
have to
played
check it
one.
out.
I only
Yeah.
played once, so kind of a Mist newbie.
Okay.
I guess.
Riven's
but
my
you only
favorite.
played the first one.
Yeah, I played the one where there was a dude in the bathtub. I remember that. Was that game, or was that
That's
some
not,
other?
That's not Mist.
That's not Mist.
That must explain a lot about my childhood. No, it was,
There was a dude in the bathtub.
but it was, you like walked in on this dude just, all right, whatever. It was
Maniac Mansion, maybe?
I have no idea. I thought it was the island one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mist is the island one, but there's no dude in the
There's not
bathtub.
again
All
about
right. Well, that goes to show how much of it.
It must have been a bootleg copy.
Yes. Or he found the secret ending.
Maybe. But Jonathan found something no one else has been able to find.
You know, I strive to be different. So
Yeah.
You know,
think
I like.
achieved.
I've always liked Mist just because of how obtuse it all is. You're dropped into this world. It's, kind of sci-fi with the linking books and everything, but you have no idea what's going on. You don't even know what, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. I thought that the goal was that you were starting on this island and you had to figure out a way to get off. And if you figured out how to raise the ship and use the ship to sail away or the rocket ship to fly away, you won the game. So when I got to that point, got on the ship and left, I thought I'd won the game.
Right.
And then I was in a completely new world. And, you just had no idea what you were doing, but it was so intoxicating, that, I don't know, I love it.
Besides the fact that the music puzzle on the rocket ship sucked. I
Yeah,
hated it.
yeah.
I hated it so
Well,
much.
there's always been a few downfall puzzles. Like I remember the marble puzzle from Riven.
Mhm.
That was just so, it was more vague than it should have been, and almost impossible to really solve.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just remember spending probably weeks on that game, just on that one area, and it was just so infuriating,
right,
that you couldn't figure it out. So yeah, the music one.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about Mist, you can win it in, less than a minute if you know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Do a speed run of Mist would take less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. Pretty simple to do, but
For sure.
Cool game.
So I think we were going to talk a little bit about some of the games, but I don't think we have that up right now. Did you see anything in that list anything else that intrigued you? I know I saw, Alan Wake. That was an Xbox.
Yeah, that's an
movie.
interesting
Yeah, that was
game.
Xbox. It was an okay game.
I thought it was.
It wasn't what everybody was making
Yeah.
happy. They were saying this is the new terrifying game.
Right.
Had a lot of obvious Stephen King references and stuff, but I've never been a huge fan of Stephen King, and so it was really hard to get into the game. The light mechanic to, fight the enemies in the game was really
I haven't
cool.
played it.
You had to use light to do everything, to weaken your enemies before they'd be susceptible to gunfire and stuff like that. But I guess the stories, it was just really kind of off the wall. Had kind of a slight Twin Peaks vibe to it.
Oh, right on.
Which was kind of cool, but it just, I don't know, it didn't do it as well as Twin Peaks did it. Right. Does that make sense? It felt like a cheap knockoff of it.
Right.
But I guess, a lot of people really liked the game, say it was the best horror game to come out in a long time. I guess, as a horror fan, I wasn't that impressed. I played through it once, never went back to it.
I'm actually not a big horror fan, and I'm kind of a gameplay freak. I really, really draw into the gameplay more than anything, and I think the light mechanic at its time was something that Microsoft was trying to achieve, and I think I saw that. And it's been a while, right? Mm-hmm. But I think I saw that and was like, oh, that's actually cool.
It was different. Yeah. And it was kind of fresh.
We see Dying Light
Yeah.
That came out, and you have a UV light that
Yeah.
you control, or kind of control the certain monster.
Yeah, it comes into play.
Yeah,
you know.
so I think it's still kind of showing its roots.
Excuse me.
So, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, anyway, check out the Steam sale. It goes through Friday.
Yeah,
Steam
There's
sales,
some pretty
always
cool
good.
games on there.
They always have good sales.
So, yeah.
I'll have to check that out again. Alrighty. What
So,
else do we want to
Game
talk
number
about?
11.
Yes. Where did we leave off, Jonathan?
I don't know. Yet. But let's assume it is Lufia.
I think that's where we left
I think
off.
it was Lufia.
So where we go? So is it my turn now?
It's your turn.
Okay, so my next game is BioShock. I love
The original.
The original, yeah. I mean, Infinite was great, but it didn't have the same vibe. That's not even right. It didn't have the same magic as the original BioShock. I remember falling in love with that game from the very first trailer, where the drill goes through the dude's chest. Like, it blew me away. It looked like a cool horror game coming out, so I was immediately hooked. It comes out, it was the game that it was originally going to be an Xbox exclusive, and I considered buying an Xbox 360 just for that game. Then my brother bought an Xbox 360, so I just played it on his system, and then eventually they released it on PlayStation 3, which was awesome. But the game was just, from a story perspective, it was such an awesomely crafted story, and now it kind of, it has the twist ending in it, and stuff like that. Well, not even the twist ending, but like there's the twist that comes, 3/4 through the game, and like it was just awesome. You didn't see that level of storytelling in gameplay a lot.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first games where I felt it made me question my actions, like why am I doing this? Especially at the end, it really kind of made you say, okay, well, am I a good guy? Am I a bad guy? What am I? It really had that morality to it that I think I'm definitely drawn to in games, is making you question. Instead of just shooting up hordes of zombies, it's making you say, well, why am I actually doing this? And I think BioShock really hit a home run with that.
And I think one of the important things about it is, and I'd have to go back and reread a lot of the interviews, but Ken Levine spoke specifically about choice in games, and that was part of the game design, is that with games, we're under the impression that, we're free to do what we want. We have this huge amount of freedom, which is true in a sense, but what I think the point he was trying to make was that even though it feels like you have a choice, you're still being directed down a path.
Right.
And that was the point of BioShock, is that, you're in this game world, combat options are off the wall, you can do whatever you want, but in the end, you're still flying toward this conclusion.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a very interesting commentary on the, on video games themselves, game industry,
Yeah.
And it was unique, it was fresh, and I wanted more. I liked BioShock 2, not as much, but it was still a lot of fun. BioShock Infinite, really cool game.
I thought the combat system in BioShock Infinite was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought the story was really good, but it didn't have that whole otherworldliness of Rapture,
right.
I think is the word I would go for.
It didn't feel as immersive as Rapture was. Columbia was a cool place, but like it felt very video gamey.
Yeah.
You knew you were transitioning to new areas, stuff like that. I mean, Rapture, you're trapped underwater. There's no place to go. Columbia, you're in the sky, but still everything's bright and sunny. You had a hard time feeling that sense of dread. That you felt with Rapture, But I really don't want to say that BioShock Infinite was a bad game, because it wasn't. It was fantastic. The story was incredible, and
Yeah, and for his role in it, I think Brooker DeWitt was a fantastic protagonist for that game.
Yes.
And his relationship with Elizabeth, and I mean, just the whole story there, and the twist that comes and everything, they did an amazing job with that.
Mm-hmm.
But there was that, we talk about the forbiddenness or that otherworldliness that we like in video games, and I think Rapture definitely captures that for me.
And I think part of it is, it had this you know, the atmosphere had this sense of terror about it.
Yeah.
You know, from when you first show up in Rapture, everything's falling apart. The splicers are attacking your bathysphere. It's scary. And then you start exploring the world. You come across the lady with the baby carriage, singing really creepily and stuff like that. And you go up there, it's a revolver in the baby carriage. You know, just this weird otherworldly sense of creepiness where you're just,
and it's very surreal. Yeah, you know, I mean, you never know. Like when I was playing that game, it's like, you know, this it seems like stuff of nightmares that I'm seeing here. And BioShock Infinite really didn't have that.
You know, and I think another part of it is I'm afraid of water.
Right.
You know, and so that oppressiveness of being trapped underwater, I think that played into it a little bit too for me, right, personally.
Right.
I like the whole idea of the big daddies being completely optional enemies. You know, they're intimidating, they were frightening, but you could just walk right past them. They wouldn't touch you unless you threaten the little sisters.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was cool. You know, BioShock Infinite, obviously the bigger heavy hitters, you know, the Boys of Silence, the Handyman, the Songbird, you had to confront them, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I could talk about BioShock all day.
You know, I think from a PC standpoint, when that game came out, it was almost as kind of a Dishonored before Dishonored was.
Yeah.
It showed simplicity with gameplay. And it also was super fluid. It was a game that if you had a couple of years old computer, you could still run it. And I think that kind of set a standard that we're kind of seeing today with games. You know, games cannot be successful unless every PC for years before can use it. You know, this current generation is kind of the exception, but BioShock was quite an example in the PC world.
That's a good perspective. You know, and I like that you brought up the thing about Dishonored, because when I started playing Dishonored, I immediately felt within the first 5 minutes, I was like, this feels a lot like BioShock. You know, just the gameplay, you know, just how everything...
Oh,
yeah.
Even
kind of the art style of it, you know?
Yeah, Dishonored was like, it was like, wow, this feels like BioShock.
Yeah.
And then you get into it, and it's like, whoa, this is Dishonored.
Yeah.
You know, this is totally different.
You know, but you kind of fall into that muscle memory of playing BioShock. You know, everything operates the same. It's very... It's cool. It was a cool little...
The irony of it, I actually tried out the DLC for Infinite. I was like, these controls are foreign to me. I cannot get a hold of these. I actually stopped because it was like, this is frustrating because it wasn't Dishonored controls. I thought that was interesting.
You need to finish the DLC for Infinite because it's so important to the BioShock story. So important.
I
really don't want to talk
about it. I haven't played
it
either.
Play it, so.
Yeah.
So just real quick, Riley1, he's watching us.
Okay.
He said that he knows of one, because we're doing 50 best games. We need to put that title up on there, the topic, right?
Yes.
But he said, Joe Van's in the chat. He's chatting him up. He said it has an original RPG. It has an original RPG feel, but it still has the storyline, good combat, free roam, and funny glitches in the background. So I haven't personally played Inquisition, but have you guys?
I haven't played Inquisition either.
I've played it. Okay. I haven't finished it.
So do you see kind of what Riley wants going off with here?
Yeah. I don't know. It feels like a BioWare game. You know, it feels... I mean, you can tell it's a BioWare game.
Later BioWare.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely has the whole... I mean, you know what you're doing. Tons of dialogue, tons of choices that you have to make, romance options, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's definitely glitches. Like, I remember coming across my first dragon, and I was able to trap the dragon on a piece of background. And it just caught it in a constant running animation.
That's awesome.
And I spammed the entire dragon fight. I'll say it. I used the glitch to my advantage because he kept killing me numerous times. So I was like, when I caught a break, I took it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there are glitches in it, but I mean, it's cool.
Yeah. Well, let's thank Riley1 for
thanks for the input
there.
Thank you.
So I will get the topic up, so I'll be a little close to the camera. But now, just FYI, we did talk about Lufia 2, but we also talked about Final Fantasy VI, I believe, Castlevania, Descent, and then now BioShock. So we're up to 15 now.
Okay.
So, we want to continue on number 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, did you want to go?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Sure. I'll go real quick. SimCity.
Okay.
I gotta say it that it's in my top all-time favorite, just because I think as a genre of city building, nothing else has really come close. They've only been cloning it, and it goes ages old. You know, Maxis has been around, been doing a great job. You know, and then recently EA got involved. So.
You know, my experience with SimCity, I haven't played it in years. The last time I played SimCity was when I was in junior high. But I remember, I don't remember which one it was, you know, but I remember that I was really intrigued by the fact that you could call in, like, disasters. You'd, like, call in, like, a Godzilla-type monster, an alien invasion. And I just thought that was such a cool concept. You know, here you are, obviously focusing on building up your city, stuff like that, making it run smoothly. But then, if you wanted to, you know, you could kind of... I don't want to say you could play God, but you know, you had that sense where these were, you know, this was your creation. You can make it thrive, or you can completely destroy it. And I just thought that concept, you know, in my junior high mind was kind of an empowering type feeling.
Right. Yeah.
And it was interesting. I'd never really seen that before in a game. So, you know, that's my limited experience with SimCity. But I specifically remember feeling that way.
Yeah. You know, something else that goes along with that is the fact that it was choice. You know, games way back when, it was more of a linear, you know, you could choose to go this route or this route, but the open world was more about choosing, and, you know, if you chose to do, which I don't think a lot of people really wanted to do, but you could choose to do a tornado. But how did that affect the economy? How did that affect the gameplay? You know, now you have to destroy all that rubble, rebuild. You know, people don't want to move in. You know, that type of idea.
Right.
So I think that was kind of another thing that SimCity succeeded on. So
definitely. I mean, I remember playing SimCity. I haven't played a SimCity since SimCity 2000.
It's a long time.
Which I think is the best SimCity of all the ones that I've played. But yeah, I mean, I understand why people are drawn to it. I get the appeal of building your own city and all that. For me, I was just kind of bored with SimCity. I mean, it's a great game.
Yeah, no, man.
I'm not saying that it's not a great game, but I don't know. There's not really. I am very much a story person. There's not really a story being told. You're just building a city to build a city. I mean, kind of the same. I have that same feeling towards Minecraft. I like Minecraft. I love playing Minecraft with my son. But after, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I'm kind of bored. It's like, okay, let's turn this off and do something else.
I wonder if for some people, that kind of a game is more of a cathartic type gaming experience. You know, it's very mundane.
It's rehashed.
But it's very comforting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually, I do.
I think that might be the appeal for a lot of people. You know, I can see that appeal. I have games like that I play that I just you can kind of turn your mind off and just kind of relax and fall into the motions. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Well, and definitely, I mean, Tetris is like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Segway?
No, that's not my next game.
Oh, okay.
But I can see the appeal of it, and I can play it, and I can enjoy my time with it. But at the same time, small doses for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit down and play SimCity for 5 hours.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I can see that.
Should know or play?
Should know.
Should know, yeah.
Okay.
My voice.
It's because you're speaking 13%.
That's right. Took it up to 11.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a toughie.
We talked about this one off air. Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, I love Red Dead Redemption.
I do too. And what's really weird is like the only other Western game, like you were asking me what game about cowboys and outlaws and everything that, you know, there's two games that come to mind. Sunset Riders.
Yes. I'm so glad you brought up Sunset Riders. I love that game.
Such an awesome game. We are going to the gameplay of that game because, oh my gosh, that was defining in my life.
Yep.
Sunset Riders. But, you know, the only other game that I feel kind of captured that was Red Dead Redemption. I mean, the other Red Dead games were good, but...
Revolver didn't feel like a Western. It felt very foreign. You know, I grew up, my dad is, you know, a cowboy. I grew up on a farm and stuff like that, so I watched a lot of Westerns. And Red Dead Revolver didn't feel like a Western. It felt like a weird mashup of something. You know, I mean, you get into these boss fights with these weird characters that are doing weird stuff, and it's just, it doesn't have that Western feel to it.
Right.
Everything has the painting, you know, the trappings of a Western, cowboy hats, the old West town, and stuff like that. But it felt very video gamey. Red Dead Redemption, however, felt like you were in this Western world. It was a stark,
definitely,
almost, you know, a depressing world you were in.
Well, and it was kind of telling a depressing story.
Yeah, it was very haunting.
I mean, the story of
John Marston.
I was going to call him Jim. It's John. You know, I mean, it's even in the title, right? All he wants is redemption. Yeah. That's all he wants. He wants to redeem himself.
He started a new life.
Yeah. He wanted to be forgiven for the things that he had done. And that theme goes throughout the whole game. And then there's the ending. Which, I mean, like, try as you might. You cannot change that ending.
You cannot.
You can't.
And
even
it's
if
so
you're like,
infuriating.
yeah, it's like,
but
just
it's
give
so
me one
beautiful.
bullet. Just one bullet.
It's so
like,
beautiful,
yeah,
too.
It is a very beautiful ending to a game.
And the cool thing
that was the first, like, shooting game that I wanted to finish because I was so compelled. You know, I'm not a big shooter person. Third person or first person shooter. I don't really particularly care for shooters. But Red Dead Redemption was the first one that I was like, okay, I've got to finish this game because I want to know what happens.
Yeah. You know, and you know, I remember reading all this stuff before it came out, and I really wasn't too excited for it because I kind of looked at it as another Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
You know, it's Rockstar, open world. We've come to expect a certain thing. And I'm not the biggest fan of Grand Theft Auto just because I start the game, get 3/4 of the way through it, and I can't finish it because I just get bored with it. You know? But I finally did, you know, Red Dead Redemption came out. I had somebody recommend it to me, say, no, I think you should check this out. So I did, picked it up, immediately drawn into it. And what I liked about Red Dead Redemption is it was an open world game, but it was telling a very specific story. And it didn't really allow John Marston to stray from the character that Rockstar wrote him to be.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto games, you can do anything you want.
Whatever you want to do.
Hookers, you can do anything. You know, this game, you know, you're in the Old West. Prostitutes are given in the Old West. It's not even an option in the game for John Marston to do that because he's married, he's devoted to his family. And I thought that was a very cool side of the game. Mm-hmm. You know, it was saying, no, this is who John Marston is. You know, obviously, yeah, you could kill people by leaving them on train tracks and stuff like that. But I don't know. I was really impressed by that decision that they made, you know. You weren't a scumbag. I mean, yeah, you were this outlaw who was trying to escape his past. But he was doing it for his family. He was devoted to his family. And I really liked that. And you could just tell in every conversation he had with the NPCs in the game, it always revolved around his family. And it was it was a really cool story.
Yeah, it was a really good game.
It was fun. I did spend tons of time in the ghost town looking for actual ghosts because there was one newspaper clipping that said that there's weird stuff going on out at the Tumbleweed?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, an in-game newspaper said that, so I was like, okay, they've hidden something here. I'm going on a ghost hunt. I'm going to find something. I spent days out at this, you know, that Tumbleweed Ranch and never found anything. I think they were just trolling. But I loved it. Funny. I loved that immersiveness of it. I liked the hunting.
Yeah. So as a side note, Zacho
the Mako. The Mako. Must be a shark. 18.
He said, what about Walking Dead Instinct? Never heard of it.
I've never heard of it either.
Me neither. I've heard of the Telltale games Walking Dead.
I have too. Like season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, for story, I mean, amazing stories as well. But all Telltale games are story's awesome to me.
Yeah. Now he also says that he could be wrong. I wonder if he might be confused because it has Dead in the title. It's not a zombie game. I mean, they did have the Undead Nightmare expansion.
Yeah.
Where they kind of played around with it, but I mean, it's a cowboy game. It's a Western game. I wonder if there might be a little confusion there, but I don't. But having never played Walking Dead Instinct, I wouldn't know if they are similar.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I've never heard of that game.
Might be something,
but definitely something we will research.
Yeah.
So Infinity Emperor, we know him.
Yeah.
He said that he has heard of it and it is a pretty interesting game. So
okay.
I'm not sure exactly what it is, but we will definitely
let's look into that.
Research that. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right, so we are on to I think 17. SimCity, then Red Dead
Redemption,
and then 17.
Okay. The next one on my list, I'll go with. I'm just gonna get this out of the way because I know you guys aren't horror fans. So I'm
Silent Hill.
Yeah, Silent Hill 2.
I think if you hear a horror story, it's Silent Hill first.
Right. I mean,
I never played it.
Resident Evil kickstarted the survival horror genre,
mm-hmm.
and for what it's worth, I like the Resident Evil games.
But 4 is the best. Can we just agree?
4 is really good.
Silent
2 is my
4?
preferred, but 4 is really good. It's really hard to give preference to 2 over it, but I have to. I love 2.
But 4 is amazing.
Okay, we'll get to Resident Evil 4.
I see what you're saying. I got it.
Okay, so Silent Hill 2, it has a very Japanese method of horror. Resident Evil is Western horror through a Japanese lens. The zombies, the mansion, all that kind of stuff. It's very cut and dry. There's a virus breakout. Silent Hill, it's not. You really don't know what's going on. It's very obtuse. It's very... I don't know. It's... I hate to say it because it sounds stupid, but, no pun intended, but it's a very haunting experience. It's disturbing. It's creepy. But it makes you think.
Mm-hmm.
They're very smart games. Everybody has their favorite, their favorite Silent Hill. But Silent Hill 2 was the one that really, it tells a fantastic story. It's a heartbreaking story, and it's one of the few games, even though it's so many years old, past our 5-year limit, I wouldn't spoil that ending for anybody who hasn't played the game, because you have to experience the story of Silent Hill 2. And it's, even today when I play it, it blows me away. Mm-hmm. And it introduced one of my favorite video game characters with, Pyramid Head.
Pyramid Head.
Love Pyramid Head.
Pyramid Head.
A lot of my sign-on names, even on this channel, my sign-on name is Red Pyramid Thing 9. I love Pyramid Head. And, but it's just such a depressing, heartbreaking story, but it's so well told. And it has so many layers to it, so much symbolism.
Interesting.
It's a fantastic game, and I love it.
Yeah, I am definitely not drawn to that genre,
mm-hmm.
But I'll check it out.
And I like it because everything in the game means something. Every camera angle, every item you come across, every thing you look at, every sound you hear, it has some symbolic meaning to the story being told.
And
when it all comes together, it's mind blowing. And there's still stuff that I come across, and I'll be like, I didn't catch that on my first 20 playthroughs, and I'm just catching that now, and it completely ties into the rest of the game.
Interesting.
It's such a well-made game,
Right on.
I don't know. I love it. I think we might have to do a playthrough of it.
We can talk about that. I think I will be on vacation.
Come on, we'll do it down here. I'll turn all the lights
out.
out.
It's not creepy down here at all.
It's not creepy at all.
Not creepy at all.
It's a murder basement.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's see. 18. I'm going to go with Tetris. I know we hit on this, so I don't think we really have much to rehash. But I think one of the fan favorites of Tetris is just the fact that it is really, really hard. It is a game that you could... it's based on skill. No matter how well you know that it's 3 bricks with 1 brick equals an L shape and the places that it can go, it's still skill. So,
right.
So yeah, I don't think there's much else to talk about.
Plus, I mean, I think Tetris for me, like one of the most genius things that Nintendo could have done was release Tetris for the Game Boy. I think that in and of itself sold most of the Game Boy units that they could have sold.
It was a system seller.
That was it. I mean,
that's why people were buying
it. You didn't play Game Boy without Tetris. You played other games on it, but you still had Tetris. And so I think from a marketing standpoint, that was a genius move for them.
I think for the phone, I think also, everyone that remembers a phone, when it comes to a flip phone, you had Tetris or Snake.
Snake.
Right? Yep.
So, again, something that everyone has. So, all right, we are up to 19.
All right.
Number 19.
It's getting hard. It's getting hard.
It is.
Now you have more than.
Oh yeah, we do. So we're going to go through our entire list, and then we will whittle it down to the actual 50.
Yeah, Riley won before you continue. Sorry, Riley won. Just asking what's going on. So again, 50 games that all gamers should know. Titles up at the top.
Yeah. So we are presenting our game canon of these are games that we feel every gamer should at least have a cursory knowledge of. Whether because of the impact on the industry or impact of the culture, these are the games that we feel define gamer culture, so to speak.
You know, there's a couple of questions that I was just kind of reading through here, and you know, Zacho, the Mako, 18, he asked, you know, how our prospects are. What do we think of GTA 5 and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare? I haven't played Advanced Warfare.
Right.
I haven't either.
GTA 5, again, it was a really good game.
I'm so excited. I'm ready to get it on PC. It'll be my first run through and everything. So yeah, I'm excited for GTA 5.
Okay. What I liked about it, it was a beautiful game, but I really liked the heists. You know, it's this big setup. You plan out your heist and everything, and then you execute it. Things could go wrong if you plan.
That was non-multiplayer, right? Because the heists are coming out soon.
Right. You know, I'm talking about the single player campaign. I really liked the idea of switching between 3 different characters. It was really cool. You know, I don't know. It was cool. I liked it because when it would make the switch, especially when it would switch back over to Trevor, who was the maniac of the game, the transitions to what he was doing were insane. He was
Don't spoil it.
Oh, I mean, they're not. It's not spoilers to the story, but I mean, you switch over to one time, he's throwing a body off of a bridge. You're like, what is he doing? And it never addresses it. It's just like, this dude is insane. Another one, he's passed out in his underwear out in the middle of the desert. You know, I mean, it's just.
And you get up and you're
and you just
all right.
Keep going. I mean, but it was a really cool gameplay. You know, so you switch between these 3 protagonists, and I thought it was really cool. Huh. It was probably one of my more favorite Grand Theft Autos.
Obviously, since we're on that topic, GTA 2, but we'll get there.
No,
we've already discussed this.
No,
I don't think we have because.
And then
Advanced Warfare. We'll touch on that.
We'll touch. Yeah, I haven't played it.
I haven't played it either.
Yeah, and I think it's just because they're releasing them every year by different developers, and I think this one was more of a tale off of Titanfall. Where it was jetpacks and stuff like that. Titanfall was kind of the...
They have like the exosuits.
Yeah, and the exosuits was, that's been rehashing for a while. But I don't know. They haven't really changed much. I think, in the sense of the first-person shooter in as, AW is, Battlefield 4 took the liberty of, hey, let's change the map once a game or something like that. Completely changed it, right? But since it's so fast, it doesn't really change it at all. Because you're not really stealthily going around. You're not really, there's no goals except for, killing. So I think Call of Duty has a lot more maturing to do before it becomes my favorite, honestly. Just because...
Time out, though.
Okay, go ahead. No, it is on our list, by the way.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yes, the first one.
Was a game changer.
Yes.
So I will say that
I'll give it
Call of Duty Modern Warfare was, I mean, it's on my list. I'm not a shooter person.
Right.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare, just because of the way that it changed that genre, is on my list. As for Advanced Warfare, haven't played it. I don't feel like they've really innovated past Modern Warfare.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. That's actually I've played up to Black Ops 2 now. I don't think there's much else to really get from it. except for I guess achievements is now the big thing these days. So.
I'm going to jump back real quick to Infinity Emperor. This is going back to Silent Hill talk. He mentioned that he asked if Silent Hill. He said, "Did you know Silent Hill was based off of a real family?" If I remember correctly. And then he says, "Wait, not that game." And to address that, I think what you're thinking of is the Fatal Frame series. The first game, at least, was based off of actual events, not all the ghosts and stuff like that, but it took the idea of this Japanese family murders and kind of made a game out of it with a more supernatural twist. But that might be what you're thinking of. Okay. So, yeah.
Alrighty. So thank you. How do we say it? Zacko
the Mako 18.
Thanks for that. For tuning in, and now we're on to 19.
I'm going to say this one. I don't know how many people are going to actually have played this game, but Zork.
Oof. We've talked about Zork.
We've talked about Zork a lot. Me and you have talked about Zork a lot.
I haven't played it.
It was one of those games that I really thought nobody had ever really played. It's text-based.
Yes.
It's that's important to say. That's important to clarify.
Yeah, it is. It's all text. There's no images. There's no graphical interface. It says, "What do you want to do?" And just the way that game progresses. From going to this abandoned house with nothing in front of you but a mailbox to exploring this grand underground empire.
Yeah.
That is so well written.
Well, it shows how important writing can be to a video game.
Yeah, for sure.
And like we were talking the other day, the interesting thing about that game was when I think back to it, I could have sworn that it had graphics to go along with the game. And it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Completely text-based. All you're looking at is text.
Yeah.
But it was such an imaginative game that when I remember it, I could,
Yeah.
I thought
it was like, I guess I was drawn to Zork and the interactive fiction games because I really liked the Choose Your Own Adventures in junior high. Yeah, who didn't? Of all of those games, two that really stand out to me, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the text-based adventure. I have yet to beat that game. I have read Hitchhiker's Guide in every form that has ever been made. Radio scripts, the movie, the novel, everything. I know what happens in that story. I have still yet to get a perfect score in the interactive fiction version of it. So, Hitchhiker's Guide was definitely like, this is incredibly hard, trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do in order to score, versus Zork, where Zork was really just more about exploring this fantastic world and experiencing what was going on. There was a point system, but for me, it wasn't about the points. It was about experiencing what was going on
through your own mind instead of someone else's mind.
Through the written word. And quite honestly, I think I can pinpoint my fascination with the written word, with being a marketer, a copy editor, the stuff that I do for a day job, to Zork. Because it really showed me the power, what the written word can really do to your mind.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
I'm just going to update our title.
Okay.
Because right now I believe it's on streaming next Wednesday or something.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So don't mind me. Sorry, guys.
Now, while we're kind of on that subject of when we're going to be streaming next, are we going to do any game streaming later this week? I know Saturday's out. Were we thinking about doing anything on Friday?
Maybe Friday.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that. We might be doing something on Friday.
Okay. Yeah. But regardless, it'll be our topic. So if you hit the follow button and then just check, I guess Friday.
Yeah, we'll change it. We'll change it after we decide when.
Yeah. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So
we are on 20 if we want to continue. And it's yours.
So is this the
last one for the night?
Do we want to do? Yeah, I guess so. We can either switch topics. It is 9:30.
I'm good for another bit.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, and we definitely want to hear what you guys want to talk about as well. So, we'll hit you up after this 20th.
Okay, so I guess for 20 we'll talk about Dark Souls is on my list. I've talked about Dark Souls a lot.
Yeah.
I love the game. Dark Souls 1 more than Dark Souls 2. Very excited for their remaking Dark Souls 2 for PS4. Bloodborne is coming out soon for PS4, which is by the same makers. Has a lot of the same type of gameplay from what we've seen, But Dark Souls, I first played it, and it's a spiritual successor to Demon Souls.
Yeah, I was going to say, there is a connection between them.
Oh, I mean, you play them, sounds are the same, how the game plays, you can tell they're very similar games. But Dark Souls just mastered what it started with Demon Souls. Different world, different story, but it just hit its stride with it in Dark Souls. And and it's a spiritual success. A lot of people say that it's one of those games where it either clicks with you or it doesn't. And that was kind of my experience with it. I first picked up Dark Souls, I started playing it, just couldn't quite get into it. I turned it off, picked it up a year later, and then everything just fell into place. All the pieces fell into place, and I can't stop playing it. I've played through the game 5 times, and I still find myself, when I'm down here playing the game, if I don't have any other game really to play, I'll throw in Dark Souls or Dark Souls 2.
Right. And
I just play it, And it's the type of game where it's a high risk, high reward. It's masochistically hard. I mean, the very first enemy in the game is a boss encounter, and you get destroyed by the boss until your character gets stronger and you kind of get better at the game, But you play it, you struggle and struggle and struggle against the system, and then when you finally defeat that boss or get to a new area, the level of success that you feel is so rewarding that it's addicting.
Right.
You get addicted to that feeling, even though you're going to die in 5 more minutes anyways.
Right.
But you keep pushing forward bit by bit, just to get that rush.
Yeah.
So while we're on the topic of Dark Souls 2, I think in the PC community, I think mostly it was, hey, this is a hard game. It's permadeath.
No. It's not permadeath.
Oh, that's right. You can
reclaim your soul.
Oh, that's right.
You die, you lose your humanity. If you're in human form, you have the opportunity to go back and reclaim where you died at. You touch your bloodstain, you regain all the souls, which is the game's currency. That's how you level up. That's how you buy weapons and items and stuff like that. You gain all your souls that you gained. But if you die before you touch your bloodstain again, then you lose it all. It's not permadeath. You lose everything and you start at 0. But you still can continue playing the game from where you left off. It's not a permadeath game.
Right.
So the question was asked, do you think it's a hard game?
Oh, yes. It is an extremely hard game.
Is that kind of a silly question because it's meant to be that way?
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
they've designed it to be hard.
I mean, when the special edition of the game is the Prepare to Die edition, you expect to die. I don't think anybody can play that game without dying. I've yet to see it.
So if there was a speed run, they would at least die once.
At least, at the very least.
Okay.
Unless I mean they've. Yeah, I don't know.
But it's the kind of game where it's hard, but it's not cheap.
Right.
When you die in the game, it's your own fault. It's because you weren't patient, you went in button mashing, or you just weren't paying attention. It's a very it's not cheap, but it's strict. Does that make sense?
Right.
And I think that's the beauty of the game. Is it can be a very rewarding game, or it can be a very frustrating game, depending on how you go into it. If you go in with a slow pace and you walk through the entire game with your shield raised, you might have a chance.
Right.
And then when you start learning the mechanics and start learning how things work, then you can switch up your gameplay style. I played through Dark Souls 1, Sword and Shield. Dark Souls 2, I win as a dual swordsman, and it requires a little bit more finesse, and I still get destroyed. But I've been able to complete the game multiple times. Part of that is because I love the games.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, very hard games, but very rewarding if you're willing to put time into it. And another thing about it, going back to storytelling, is it doesn't hold your hand in telling its story. You have to dig for the story, and it almost feels like it's an archaeological type of game. You have to dig to find the lore that's in the game. But once you find the lore that's in the game, it's very deep. it's very expansive, and it's a really cool way to tell a story. There's maybe 5 cutscenes in the entire game, and none of them tell anything about the story. They just show a boss show up or something, and it's a unique way to approach a game, and it's obviously been successful.
Right.
They're doing great things, and I'm very excited. I think Bloodborne is one of the games I'm most excited for this year.
So that's our 20.
Yes.
We're going to pause there with our 50 games, and we're going to switch topics. Now,
I had 2 things I wanted to say. And segueing from Dark Souls 2.
Okay.
2 of the games that I have been playing a lot recently. Rogue Legacy.
Yes, I picked that up. I suck at it.
So do I.
It's fun.
And Darkest Dungeon. So I want to talk about Rogue Legacy for just a second.
Okay.
Because it came out on PlayStation Plus. I'm playing it on the PS4. I've had it on Steam since it first came out. I bought it because I thought it looked interesting. But I never really played it on my PC. So I've been playing it on my PS4. It's a hard game. That game, wow, it's hard. But it's incredibly addicting. I've yet to beat the first portion of it. I'm still working my way through the castle. I haven't made it to the forest yet.
Yeah. I'm still stuck in the castle.
But the thing I love about that game is it's permadeath in the fact that you don't get the same hero. I think the way that they did the heirs in that game is really, really fascinating. And it's been taking up a lot of my time lately playing Rogue Legacy. I'm putting in maybe 30 minutes to an hour a day playing that game, which for me is a lot of game time. And then the other game, which just released this week, or 2 weeks, was it 2 weeks ago?
I think it was a couple of weeks ago.
Weeks.
Yeah.
Darkest Dungeon.
You've
heard about it, Cole?
I've heard about it. I haven't tried it out yet.
Jonathan's played it. I've played it. Wow. That game really is this risk and reward system. Is do I dare go any further? I'm going to lose everything that I've gained so far if I go any further. And again, that game is permadeath, in which you don't get your hero back. You have to level up your heroes all over again and everything.
And you have multiple. So you're trying to make it through a dungeon with 4.
Yeah.
And you're reliant on a healer or, your frontman guy or maybe your DPS. Oh, man.
Yeah. And the thing that I love about Darkest Dungeon, the artwork is amazing. It's kind of a mix of Edgar Allan Poe / P.H. Lovecraft. I mean, the story, HP, sorry, you're right. H.P. Lovecraft, kind of backwards. Very much Lovecraftian, even in the art style and the monsters and everything in that game remind me a lot of Cthulhu and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the gameplay, that game is addictive. I can only play it for 15 minutes at a time though, because I get so angry. It's I just want to get to level 2. That's all I want. Is to get to level 2. Why can't I get to level 2? I suck at this game. But yeah, I think those are the 2 games that have recently. Rogue Legacy isn't new. It is new to PlayStation Plus, so it is one of the new games that I'm playing. But Darkest Dungeon, this week for me, that's what's been taking up my time.
Cool. So let's. Did you? What have you been playing? That's
I started,
off the wall.
Okay. I don't know off the wall. I did start playing Rogue Legacy. Off of your suggestion. It's fun. It's hard.
It is hard.
Addicting.
Very addicting.
Annoying. I love it.
I got it for my Vita because I was like, heck yes, I want to go play this in bed. I just finished playing on my PS4, and I'm going to go play it in bed now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, the other games I've been playing Dying Light. Really? I wanted to see what it was about.
Do you like it?
It feels a lot like Dead Island, other than the free running. The parkour element that it has to it, but combat is really similar. But I'm only a few hours into the game, so I hear that it's supposed to, as you level up your character, it's supposed to get a lot more robust.
I thought there would be a lot more open world choices.
Yeah,
story can change.
I mean, it seems pretty standard.
Linear story with side quests like Far Cry.
Yeah,
Far Cry 4 was a disappointment for me.
That's the other game I'm playing. It's Far Cry 4.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. It's not a disappointment.
No. I mean, it's
Spoiler
Far Cry.
alert, Jonathan didn't like it.
Whoops.
I don't know. Troy Baker is the voice of Pagan Min. You know, we all love Troy Baker, but he's very Joker-esque type of villain.
Yeah,
you know?
I actually really
like
his
him.
character.
You know, I don't know if he's better than Voss from Far Cry 3 because Voss was scary. Pagan Min is more of kind of a jokey type villain.
Yeah,
I can't quite take him seriously.
End game material, you have this feeling of I kind of like being in your presence.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It felt like a deterrent from the actual game itself.
So he's more like a frenemy.
Yeah. It did.
I like the chaos of the Far Cry games. You know, anything can happen. I've been run over by rhinos and elephants way too many times because I can't not shoot arrows at them. And I think, okay, this time I'm going to bring down a rhino with my bow and arrow, but it never plays out that way. But I can't stop from doing it. You know, I'm going along to take out a fortress. I see a rhino. I shoot an arrow at it. I can't help it.
You gotta do it.
You know, it's impulsive, but you know, I think that's what I like about the Far Cry games is they're so chaotic and anything can really happen. And it's fun. You know,
I've never played a Far Cry game.
It's a shooter. I don't know if you'd like it, but it is it's fun.
Yeah.
It has
a
weird, it has a weird sense of character to it as well. You know, it's it's a Far Cry game.
Yeah. And I think Far Cry 1 it kind of set the tone of open world games. There was sort of a story. I don't even remember the story in Far Cry 1.
Yeah.
But the game was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
And
the jungle.
You could go anywhere, and you could change. It felt like you were changing the world every person you shot. It was really, really quite wonderful.
Yeah, it was cool.
Interesting.
You know, if you want to jump into Far Cry, you should try out Blood Dragon.
You know what?
The Far Cry 3 spin-off. But it's
a standalone.
It's standalone, but it's really cool because we grew up in the 80s, so you have to have that appreciation for the gritty, not gritty, but like the almost cheesy 80s action movie type vibe. Right. And that's what Blood Dragon is. Everything's bathed in neon light, you know. And
well, that's what I loved about Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah, I mean, the main character is he's got tons of puns at his disposal, you know. It's
right. Interesting.
It's fun.
I'll check it out.
I think you'd enjoy it.
So
what have you been playing?
Me?
Or do you have a question to answer?
Well, no question. I just thought it was interesting. Zacho the
Mako. He's back.
Mako?
I'm going to say Mako because Mako is a shark, but it doesn't rhyme with Zacho.
No.
So it's either Zacho the Mako, which probably makes more sense.
Zach will need to clarify
is it
one
a hard
of these
day
days.
or is it a soft day?
Yeah, he's got to go. Yeah. He's got to go. So he'll see us Friday. But he said that I might want to try the games that you guys are talking about here. Cool. I think
that's what
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
That's our purpose.
We definitely want to guide people in the right direction, you know. But setting the tone of our stream, it's not really about
recommending. You know, we're not really we're not in this to recommend games to people. Rather, we're in it to talk about the games that had an impact on us and the personal experience we had with games. Because ultimately, that's what gaming is. The whole point of gaming is that you're experiencing something on a personal level.
And you kind of have to tread your own path.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't, because I don't agree. I might not agree with the reviewer. What he says is a good game, I might not like. What he says is a terrible game, I might really enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
You never really know until you actually pick up the game and play it yourself. Right. And try not to have a bias toward it.
Yeah. And that's why you won't see a objective number score
with
us.
We'll talk about games we like, why we like them,
that's
about
why we think people should play them. But we're not going to be an objective. Well, we gave the score a 9.8.
Right.
Because we feel like gaming is so much more than a number.
Yeah, it's your own experience. You do what you want with it.
Exactly.
It should be open.
Exactly.
So, kind of like our topics.
Yes.
All over the place.
All over the place.
Which I love.
But thank you for joining us, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
Very kind of you.
I'm sure he's got to go because it's late over. He said he was in.
He said he was in
Eastern time. Yeah.
Right
so
on.
Well,
hopefully he's not stuck in the snow. Alrighty, so for me, boy, I haven't really had a whole lot of time to play games lately, but the one that comes to mind the most is Prison Architect and Prison Escape, or I forget the name of it.
Is it an escape the room type game?
It's like Prison Escape.
Escapist.
Yeah, Escapist. Yeah. So those are the prison ones that I've really enjoyed. They're early access. They're indie games. But
Prison Architect is amazing.
Yeah, you played that one.
Prison Architect is SimCity for prisons,
right?
Except there's just so much chaos going on because you're dealing with prisoners. I don't get bored with that game because there is so much happening. It's like, oh my gosh, I gotta figure out what's going on over here.
And I think also what really adds to that game more than SimCity, and SimCity could go this direction, but you're managing or kind of managing on a macro level people.
Yeah.
And there's sort of this, prisoners, you're not really sure what they're going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Based on their scenarios, what you planned and, you calculated they'll go down this hall and, that could totally get ruined if there was some unforeseen thing. So
yeah, for sure. Well, and what I find interesting about that game is that the people that you're going to be executing, when you have to have an execution chamber in your prison, and even the individual prisoners, they all have stories. They all have backstory, and you can emotionally engage with these prisoners. Where I felt like in SimCity, you don't really have that with your population, right? It's just, you have 7 people living in this building, in this apartment building. Where Prison Architect is really more about, like you said, it's more about the people in the prison, and you're building it to suit those people and their needs, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it feels like SimCity got with The Sims and had a prison baby.
Yeah,
and
for sure,
it came out beautiful.
Yeah, it did.
What's a mutant baby?
EA was not in the picture, so it came out,
exactly. It kind of has that like retro vibe to. I mean, it's not 8-bit graphic, but it's also not like realistic.
Right.
And so it kind of has this nostalgia factor for it. Definitely a fun game.
Cool.
And Escapee. What's the name of it? Escapist. Thank you. Have you played that?
I haven't.
It's on my wish list. I haven't played it.
Oh, okay.
But it is one of the games I want to play.
It's really good because you're the prisoner, and with Prison Architect, I almost wish they would marry each other, because if you could build it and then
have more babies.
More babies, it's all about
more prison babies.
More prison babies.
That's what we want. More prison babies.
Everyone loves prison babies.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
Well, in the marriage, you would create the prison, and then you would be the prisoner.
Try to escape.
And then try to escape.
That would be cool.
Oh, that's cool. Infinity Emperor just said that some of the prisoners' names and backgrounds are created by some of the gamers.
Yeah, like prisoner profiles.
Yeah,
you could write some. I don't know how it works, but you could write something and put it in the game. And I remember watching another streamer stream it, and he was like, "Hey, my name's in here." So when you start getting popular, you might find your name in some indie games. So.
That's cool.
So yeah. So that's what I've been playing. So let's switch over to kind of up and coming games. I think this is a big area that we're just gonna, we can bring these up.
I've already said it when I was talking about Dark Souls that I'm really looking forward to Bloodborne.
Is that a separate game, or is that?
It's by the same makers, but it's different. Okay. It's like set in like a Victorian,
so
Gothic
it's like a new
setting instead of dark fantasy.
So it's a new.
It looks more of a horror type game.
Yeah, I've thought
with a lot of but with like a lot of the same game mechanics as the Dark Souls series. So I'm looking forward to it. And then
what about Witcher 3? I know it was
there's a little bit of chatter about Witcher 3. I really liked Witcher 2, and I think we talked a little bit about Witcher. I'm excited for Witcher 3 just because of the fact that you get to actually do more.
You finally get to be a Witcher.
You get to do more Witchering
instead of a bodyguard.
Yeah, Witcher 2 was a lot of fun, but it felt there was just so much political intrigue going on and stuff, and it just felt like the entire game was spent talking to people and then fighting every now and then.
Yeah.
And like one monster hunt, that Kraken thing that you had to go hunt down in the swamp. And but I really liked it. It was a really fun game, a very cool adult storytelling. You know, I would liken it to Game of Thrones type of storytelling. You know, a lot of things going on. But yeah, Witcher 3 I'm excited for just because of I expect the same level of storytelling.
Yeah.
But with the added weight of some cool boss fights.
I feel like this year's your year, because what else is going to come out?
Mortal Kombat X. I'm excited for. I love Mortal Kombat. I love it. Love it.
Plus, Zelda Wii U.
Yeah, Zelda Wii U's coming out. I might be getting a new console.
Yeah. I'll be coming.
I say might. I mean, I will.
I will buy the game for the console I already have.
You know, I base my Nintendo console buying on the Zelda game coming out with it.
I will say.
That's why I want a 3DS.
Which I'm considering getting.
Yes.
Just so I can have Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on the go. I love it.
Buy the new DS, which comes out Friday.
Yep.
Oh, really?
This Friday.
Excited. And it's so cheap. I'm surprised.
It is cheap.
Yeah,
they're releasing it at the same price. Which I think is a really good
But it doesn't
move.
come with power adapter, so you have to buy that.
No, it doesn't come with a power adapter.
Well, maybe they're going with the idea that if you already have
the system,
you have the
because it's the same adapter.
Yeah.
Cut down on cost.
I am excited. You know, I am a Kirby fan. I like Kirby. I'm really excited for the Rainbow Curse. That I think it actually came out today. I'm not too excited about it because I don't know when it comes out, but I know it's like this week. It comes out this week.
Nice. Evolve came out this week.
Yes,
Evolve
did come out this week. I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, I don't really have much of an opinion on that.
I've been watching people play it. I think there's interesting modes, stuff like that, but
it's very multiplayer driven, though, right?
It is. It is. You can still play with AI, but even the AI, it's team based.
And I think that's my holdup with it. Is I like the idea of it. You know, you're hunting these big, massive monsters. You know, but at heart, I'm more of a single player gamer. You know, I don't really get too excited about multiplayer modes, and I can't justify buying a game if it's really only multiplayer.
Right.
Because I won't get anything out of it. I won't enjoy it as much.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're similar in that sense. You know, we both like story-driven games.
Yeah. Although I will say that Diablo 3 for me, Diablo 2, those games take on a whole new life when you add multiplayer to them.
You know.
But they have a strong single-player component.
Yeah, but interestingly, I don't think I've ever experienced a game where it was a single-player that was just as strong and with multiplayer. You know what I mean? Like, single-player was fun. You could do all sorts of things, and if you got bored, you could hack it, which I did. Or you can go to multiplayer. Yeah, right. So then you could go to multiplayer, and then it was even more fun because you were stuck. You couldn't hack it. That was the added fun for me. So I think there hasn't really been a game to do that since. Because now it's all online. Well, you can't have a single player that's online. EA found that out with SimCity, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For example, at least. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to think about that, but I don't think there's been really a game like Diablo's that have achieved that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Sure.
And we'll all agree that Arkham Knight is really on the top of our
list.
I'm super excited. No,
I haven't played the others.
Oh,
super excited.
I'm excited for Arkham Knight. It'll easily be a contender for Game of the Year.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
I mean, easily. So, I guess those would be my top prospects for the year.
You know, I honestly, I don't know what game I'm excited about this year. I think that my thought going into 2013 is I have, 250 plus games in my Steam account. I have a lot of games that I've wanted to play that I just haven't had a chance to get to yet. So I'm excited to see what came out in 2014. 2014 was really a work year for me. Yeah. I did a lot of work. I worked a lot of hours. I had a lot of projects. Not on games.
On his actual job.
I think overall, if I totaled the number of hours I spent playing games in 2014, it would be less than 100. Right. So I am really excited to go back and play my backlog.
Very cool. And maybe that might be a topic that we could discuss. What's our backlog?
Yeah.
What games do we have?
Well, I have so many backlog. Although I do have one game I am super excited about for 2015. It does not come out until August/September. You guys want to venture a guess? Disgaea 5.
I should have.
Disgaea 5. I am super excited about. Although I am excited about Persona 5 as well. We haven't talked about the Persona series, so I'm not going to go into it too much. Mm-hmm. But I am excited for Persona 5.
I've never heard of that one.
You've never...
Persona? No, I've never heard
really?
of Persona.
I've heard Persona.
Have you ever heard of... I'm going to slaughter the name, but it's Shin... Help me say it.
Shin...
Megami Tensei?
Shin Megami
Tensei?
Tensei, yeah.
Have you ever heard of those games?
Mm-mm.
Okay. They're all connected. I haven't played them all, so I don't know how they all
it's kind of
connect.
like a weird amalgam of it's role playing, but like with possession and some supernatural elements going on and stuff. Yeah.
Persona, I've played the Demon or the Devil Summoner games, and I've played some of those other games. Persona for me is the part of that series that I really, really get drawn to. Persona 2, all of the Persona games, 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them really good. Persona 4 definitely is my favorite, although from the gameplay trailer of Persona 5, I'm pretty sure it's going to blow 4 out of the water.
Cool.
So, I am excited about those games.
Very exciting.
Yep.
Well,
anything else? Anybody have comments or questions they want us to?
It doesn't look like. Although we are getting told by Sloppy, that the volume is kind of low. So we'll work on that. We're working on all sorts of things here.
Yeah, we have a few technical difficulties we're ironing out, but
I don't think they're challenges. We're overcoming them.
Small hurdles.
Every week we get better.
Yes, yes. So yeah, a question off the wall, literally. Is that a skull castle in the back? And I'm guessing it's...
It's not just a skull castle. It's a castle Grayskull. It's Masters of the Universe.
He-Man.
We might have someone who's not accustomed to He-Man in our audience, but yes, it is a skull castle. It's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Look it up if you don't know.
And I saw a shirt today. I so bad wanted to buy it for you.
Oh yeah,
because it was done in the Mega Man format, but it was He-Man in the middle, and then all of the Masters of the Universe surrounding him.
You'll have to show me that.
It was so awesome when I saw it today. It was like, that's a cult shirt.
Sloppy is also saying that he says the Blue Snowball mic works great for this type of show. And they're about $45.
That's the one I was looking at. Was that one?
Okay, and then he also asked, "What's He-Man?" No, it's not He-Man. It's
He-Man.
He's
He-Man.
Just for reference, it was a cartoon started in the 80s. It's had a resurgence lately. In the comics world, the property is being done through comic form by DC. Mm-hmm. And there was a crossover event between the DC universe and the Masters of the Universe, where He-Man was established as the most powerful man in the DC universe.
Oh, wow.
He obliterated Superman.
Oh, wow. Brawl, that's crazy sauce.
That's a pretty bold move to do.
Yeah.
So, look up He-Man. He is a He-Man.
I think they actually have episodes of it. They have episodes of it on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. You can check it out, the old 80s cartoon. And there was a 2000 cartoon that was more anime inspired.
His female counterpart
was She-Ra.
She-Ra.
Yep.
Which was
my
wife's
sister.
Yes.
They weren't lovers, which a lot of people mistake.
That's true.
They were twins. So
my wife is definitely She-Ra fan.
Yeah. So. Well, cool.
Awesome, guys. Well, we will discuss when we're going to stream again, and it's been a great night.
All right, now Sloppy, if you can't hear it, I do apologize. We're definitely work on that. So
I'll go buy it right now on
Amazon. You go ahead and hit that follow button, because next we're gonna do our next show is Friday. At
8. We're doing 8.
Are we wanting?
I'm not sure yet. But yeah, probably
7 or 8 Mountain Standard Time.
Yes,
is where we're at.
Tell me the mic he recommended again.
It's
Blue Snow, Blue something.
Snowball.
Blue Snowball.
The Blue Snowball.
Blue Snowball mic. So also thank you for excuse me. Thank you for suggesting that. It's definitely along the lines of what we're trying to achieve here. Lost my train of thought, but
I think we're calling her tonight.
We're good.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Sure. Thanks, guys.
Enjoy our outro screen. Yay.
Outro.